having grown up in the shadow of Lansdowne Road, was it always inevitable that football or sport would play a big part in your life?
I started there as a young little boy. My dad used to take me across the Ringsend Park, and I started very young, and I just loved football, and I used to go up to the international games in Lansdowne, and I thought, oh, one day, please God, I'd love to be here. And I was fortunate, it worked out for me, and like you say, it's only a stone's throw from my mother's house. I was always felt under pressure playing for Ireland because I was the local boy, and I just always used to give 110% and did my best, you know.
What age did you really realise that it was possible? Was it when you moved to Cherry Orchard, or even did it take going to England when you maybe thought to yourself, I have the chance of one day lining out in that green jersey?
I went to Cherry Orchard and got a lot to thank John Wilkes and Jerry Flynn for the way they looked after me there. And John got me a trial at Derby, and I never looked back after that. It all just went well for me.
Difficult move to make, though, and you talk about that in the book. Did you find it difficult to settle in the UK?
Terrible. I was terribly homesick. I was always on the phone to my mother. I want to come home, and she said, look, you've got to keep trying. It was the worst part of being away from your family, and it was very hard. And then I had the Cluffy there. He was never called me by my first name, always called me the Irishman. And any time he wanted something done, he used to ring down to the room that we were in, and he'd just say, send the Irishman down. And I had done job after job for him. But I think he did it because he knew I was a naive and very quiet Irishman. He just tried to build my confidence up a bit.
You were like his lounge boy at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, I did everything for him. I even went to the supermarket with him to get his shopping and carry it down to his house and all that. He was always asking me to do things. He never asked anybody else. I just think he wanted me to grow up quick and get out of my Irish shyness, you know.
And the irony as well is when we look at Derby County now, managed by his son, and that Nigel, a boy you used to have to look after.
Yeah, him and his brother, I used to have to, before every match, Cluffy used to say, take my two sons to it was called the Lee stand. I had to walk through the crowd. He says, you make sure, he says, they're in their seats. And I was put in the book one day they got away from me. And I thought, oh, God. And because he watches, he never missed a trick. But when I come back to the dugout, he just put his thumbs up and he said, well done, Irishman. So whether he saw it or not, I don't know.
But you settled quite well on the field. You know, your rise through the ranks at Derby and into the first team, did it exceed what your expectation would have been?
Yeah, I got into the team by a bit of a fluke because there was a match against Leeds on the Saturday and the Derby team got loads of injuries, and on the Friday it absolutely chucked it down with rain, and there was a serious doubt of the match would go ahead. And then the next morning they passed a pitch inspection, and the manager pulled me to the side and he said, I'm going to play you today, just do your best. But to be fair, the lads looked after me great, and the two great players I had beside me was Todd and McFarland, and you know, you don't get better than them.
Did you have full confidence in your ability, though?
Oh, no, I was the worst guy in the world for confidence. I used to worry. I worried all the time, and I used to think I was never good enough. That's why managers always used to have to build my confidence up and tell me I was good and all this. To this day, you know, I still haven't got a lot of confidence.
I was going to ask, like, did that go away in your football career? Because I've been reading down through the accolades, Player of the Year 2 years in a row at Derby. I think you made Shoots Team of the Season a couple of times, and all the accolades you earned along the way, never enough to put the nerves at bay?
No, I was always like the nervous footballer. I mean, when I played for Ireland, I used to have a swig of brandy before I went on the pitch because my nerves were getting shot to me. But as soon as I heard the national anthem and the Irish crowd roaring, you know, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you just want to go out there and die for them, and that's the way I felt. As soon as the match kicked off, my nerves would disappear. You
played for some great clubs and played for some great managers along the way. What period in your career or which club do you reflect upon the fondest?
Well, a Cluffy at Derby was a great learning experience. He gave me a clip around the ear many times to get me in the right way and teach me the right things. He taught me how to play the game well. He hated you giving the ball away, so I enjoyed it with him. The rest of the time at Derby, no, it was poor. Birmingham was a great club, great supporters, and I won the Player of the Year there, as you said. Obviously, the milking and the thing was when I went to Oxford, we won the Milk Cup final. That was a fantastic day at Wembley, and you know, I'll never forget that. But
your proudest moments, though, surely must come in the green jersey, do they?
Oh, you can't buy that. I mean, putting on the green shirt to me was just unreal. You know, as I said, when you stand there and you're singing the national anthem, the crowd are singing as well, and you know, you just feel so much pride, and your lungs are bursting to get going. If it had died on that pitch, it had died a happy man.
and great memories of great games. We might talk about the World Cup qualifying campaigns and Euro 88 in a minute, but I think you'll always be remembered by many people over here as the man who kicked lumps out of Maradona in Lansdowne Road.
Yeah, Owen Hand was the manager at the time, and he said, look, 3 days before that he played against England, he ran them ragged. He said to me, look, if you get a chance, I know it's a friendly, but get a chance, clatter him. And the ball broke after about 5 minutes, and I remember clattering into him, and I bounced off him. And he just looked at me as if to say, is that the best you've got? And I thought, oh, God help us. But fortunately, it went well for me on the day, and that guy was a freak. I've never seen anything like him in my life. The best player I've ever seen.
You played under Johnny Giles, Alan Kelly Sr., Owen Hand, and Jack, obviously, for Ireland. Is Owen maybe not remembered with the level of respect that he deserves to be, because his time, that the team he had played some cracking football?
Yeah, Owen didn't get the credit he deserves. We only lost out in goal difference when Owen was in charge. We just very unfortunate. I mean, if you remember the Belgian match away when we were robbed, the French match when, another bad decision. So he never had the luck that Jack got. Jack got quite a bit of luck. I mean, Scotland beating Bulgaria in Bulgaria was a hell of a shock. And I just think it's unfortunate for Owen, because I thought he was a very good manager and a really nice guy.
And to have been in touching distance of playing in a World Cup.
Oh, it was soul destroying, especially when it's goal difference. We were all thinking we were going to go, and when them big decisions went against you, I remember being in tears in the dressing room and going to the shower and I just wanted to die. I couldn't believe it.
And Dave, to talk of that World Cup qualification campaign, it was that French game at Lansdowne Road which people will remember so fondly in 1981, where, is it fair to say you suffered the knee injury which was to bring about a lot of problems for you?
Yeah, that was the first serious injury I got, and I remember that game as if it was yesterday. That was a cracking match, but unfortunately for me it damaged the knee. I never really recovered from it, because I have had 9 operations on that knee, and I've had a new knee construction on my right knee, and 3 major operations on my back. So, a bit unfortunate, but you just have to get on with it.
You're registered disabled. How is life for you now? The scars and the trouble of football, do they still cause problems for you today?
Yeah, I'm limping around at the moment, because obviously this new knee is going to take a long time to settle. They've told me it can take up to a year. But unfortunately, I'm booked in next January to go and have a complete new knee on my left. So I'll have to start all over again next January, which is unfortunate. But I have to have it done because the pain is so bad.
And did you realise at the time how bad it was, or when you got back to Birmingham, was it immediate that this could be career ending?
It was touch and go. The surgeon had so many goes at it, and I think I've put in the book as well how many times he's opened me up. But you see, I had a lot of cortisone injections as well, and like these days they don't do that, because they wanted you back on the pitch as quick as possible. And I used to have the cortisone on the Saturday morning, and they'd play me the Saturday afternoon, and then I wouldn't train for the week. So I've had so much cortisone in there, and I'm not surprised in a bad way.
But you still managed to bounce back, and obviously this took place before your spell at Oxford and in Leicester, Bournemouth and Peterborough after that. It must have been remarkably difficult to play football with a condition like that.
It was very, very hard. You're always in pain. After the match, the knees would swell up, and then if you got a serious spasm in the back, that would happen as well. But, I was fortunate with the teams I was with and the clubs. They were very good in terms of giving me the training that I needed and not killing me. So I was just a bit fortunate there, but it was always in pain, and in the end it beat me.
When did the realisation dawn upon you that it was going to be the end and that the boots had to be hung up?
I was in Peterborough here, and we were doing some training. I'm going up hills, and the back went. I have to go and see the surgeon, and he said to me, look, I'm advising you to quit the game. He said, because if you carry on the way you are, you'll end up in a wheelchair. And I said, oh, is it that bad? He says, yeah, I've just looked at your x-rays, and I'm telling you now that you need to quit the game. And, well, what can you do? I had to take his advice.
And there was no support structure in place in those days to prepare you for that at all?
No, there was nobody to help you. You just were given your, you got £2,000 and that was it, goodbye. Like these days, they've got everything prepared now.
But it literally was a situation of finishing at the training ground one week and heading for the Dole office the next week.
I actually signed on the Dole, yeah, about a couple of weeks later. Everyone knew me in there, and it was, it was embarrassing, but I had to do it because I couldn't get a job. I was in so much pain. And then they put me disabled, gave me the green card, and they got me a job as a car park attendant,
And as your professional life ended, you're very honest in the book about your personal life, and your personal life hit quite a spiral as well.
Yeah, my marriage broke up, and when I was at Birmingham, I had a dreadful spell of the drink. I got myself into a very depressed with all the operations, and I was living on my own in a house, and I just took the wrong road and turned to the drink. And I think I'm fortunate to be still here because I drank. I was in a hell of a state.
You ended up homeless at one point.
Yeah, I ended up homeless. I ended up sleeping in the town hall basement cupboard because I'd left home and I'd nowhere to go and I hadn't any money. I had to sleep in there until I was found out, and they said you can't stay there. So I got a one-bedroom over on the other side of Peterborough.
Many people listening to this radio station might remember you appeared on Liveline a couple of years back and spoke very openly and with great honesty about the situation your life had ended up in. Writing this book, has it been a difficult process or has it been a healing process in a way?
Writing the book, the chap that wrote it, Trevor Keane, and as co-writer Alan Conway, they've been very good about it. They've worked really hard on it and they've helped me tell my life, what happened to me, and we're really pleased with it. And it has been a healing process because, you know, you're getting it all out in the open and it's coming all off your chest, which has been a great help.
And life is good now?
Yeah, life is not too bad now. I'm married here now and happy. And I've got a job, which is, you know, in these days you're lucky to have one. So I'm happy.
Can I ask you about your relationship with the fans of the various clubs you've played for and the Irish fans? Because to do some Googling and to look back over your career, there are various message boards that remember you with great fondness, and you seem to have a great relationship with Derby fans, Birmingham fans, Oxford fans, and I know you boys in green, the fans website over here, you know, you have a cracking relationship with them.
Yeah, your boys in green, a chap called Con Meehan kicked that off. We went down to my mother's house because they wanted to get a testimonial from me. And those lads have been fantastic, still following me all the time on Twitter, been brilliant. The fans of the Oxford, Birmingham and Derby just took to me and always chanted my name and give me tremendous support. And I still hear from them now. They always tweet me on Twitter, and you know, it's nice to hear from old friends, and been a fantastic time.
Do you ever resent football for where your life eventually ended up?
Oh no, because if I'd have stayed in Ireland, I mean, I don't know what I'd have done over there, and I wouldn't. I mean, I've seen the world. I sat talking to Pele for 2 or 3 hours, and I played against the other greatest man, Maradona, and I've also represented my country. I mean, I'd never change that.
Your relationship with the FAI, many people will remember the benefit that took place in the Burlington Hotel for you, and I think you were on the pitch at half-time in what was Giovanni Trapattoni's first game in charge. Is there a good relationship there, or was there some difficult post-benefit?
There was difficulty post-benefit, and then after the benefit thing it was difficult because I was supposed to get a payment each month, and as I put in the book, it wasn't coming through, and my sister kept ringing, and you know, we felt like we were begging. And, you know, I was disappointed with him. I mean, I was delighted what they did for me, that's being honest. But disappointed with the outcome of what's happened since, of the way I was treated.
I have to ask you, obviously, about Euro 88 and your relationship with Jack Charlton. Is it fair to say you probably don't remember Jack's time in charge with the fondness that maybe other people would?
Well, I got on well with Jack, but I just don't know what happened in the end. He just dropped me completely from the squad. I never heard a word, and then I went up to Lansdowne to watch the Poland match before they went away, and he come into the bar afterwards, and he walked up to me, shook my hand, and he says, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm grand." He said, "I'm very sorry." He said, "I should have been in touch, but I lost your number." And then I said, "Oh, that's fine, Jack." He said, "But he said, if you want to come up to training and you want to come up to see the lads and stay in the hotel with them before we go, no problem." And then he puts in his book that I was drunk and I give him abuse. So, I mean, I've put that story right, because I don't mind people saying things about me that's true, but I don't want any lies going about me, so I've put that right.
You were probably a victim of man management the same way Mark Lawrenson and Liam Brady and some other players can fall into.
Yeah, I think he did things on players. I mean, that's bad man management. But he got away with it because of how successful the Irish team was. Nobody criticised him over it. I thought the way it was done was disgraceful.
Do you follow the Irish team much still?
Oh, I follow the Irish team all the time. I haven't got Sky or anything like that, but I always listen on the radio and always hope, you know, and pray that they win the matches.
But some people would draw parallels between Jack Charlton's man management and maybe Giovanni Trapattoni's as well, and you can probably look at Kevin Foley for one and really feel how he's feeling.
Well, I know how he's feeling because it happened to me, and it's devastating. You never recover from it. I never recover from it, because playing for your country is the greatest honour you could ever get. And once it's just taken away from you, just without even a phone call or a thank you, you're devastated.
Did you watch those finals in Germany?
Yeah, I watched every one of them, and I was delighted how they went. I'm still an Irishman. I was still proud, and I wanted the lads to do well, and they did. They were brilliant.
And it's probably worth pointing out as well that some of the great soldiers of Charlton's team, John Aldridge, Ray Houghton, we owe their presence in a green jersey to Dave Langan.
Yeah, they were Oxford with me, and I got told, Jack, that they had relatives of Irish descendants, so they got in touch with the FAI, and then that all snowballed from there, and then they were taken across, and Ray come down to my mother's house for dinner. He had an Irish dinner, and I don't think he ever recovered from it because it was that big, so we had a great time.
Dave, the book's a great read. I'd really recommend people to go out and buy it if they've a couple of quid in their pocket. Running Through Walls. It's out this weekend, and thanks for joining us on the programme.
No problem. Thanks very much.